Welcome to the Unveiled Epic Echoes channel. Today, we're diving deep into an unexplored historical mystery. The book with blank pages arrived in America long before America knew its own name, carried across an ocean in the private trunk of a scholar who never recorded it, never spoke of it, and died somewhere between the tide and the trees along the Atlantic coast, leaving behind a single volume bound in dark leather that smelled faintly of salt and smoke and time. For centuries, the book passed quietly through hands that failed to notice it, shelved in private collections, monastery basements, frontier schools, and eventually a rural New England library where history went to rest when it was no longer fashionable. Every page inside was blank, perfectly blank, untouched by ink or age. And yet no one ever discarded it, because something about it made people hesitate, as if throwing it away might erase something they had not yet learned. In 1997, archivist Helen Carter encountered the book while cataloging materials slated for digitization. And the moment she opened it, she felt a strange warmth rise through her palms. Not alarming, just familiar, like remembering a dream she hadn't thought about in years. Helen specialized in colonial American marginalia, the overlooked notes and half-truths scribbled in the edges of official history, and she was drawn instinctively to artifacts that didn't quite belong. So she checked the book's provenance and found gaps where records should have been, centuries where it vanished entirely, reappearing without explanation in different regions during pivotal moments of American history. Late that evening, alone beneath the library's humming lights, Helen noticed faint impressions on the pages when she tilted them toward the window. Not letters exactly, but indentations like writing pressed and lifted away, as if the book had once been full and chosen to forget itself. That night she dreamed of a vast circle of people seated around a fire, passing the book hand to hand without opening it, each person speaking a single sentence aloud before returning it to the flames, glow. And when she woke, her mind held those sentences without knowing their words, only their weight. Her research led her beyond colonial records into oral histories of indigenous nations who spoke of a keeper book, an object not meant to store knowledge permanently, but to hold it safely until the world was ready to carry it without tearing itself apart. According to these stories, the book could not be read by force or curiosity alone. It revealed itself only when the reader carried a burden that matched the knowledge it held. And even then, it never wrote in ink, only in memory. As Helen's obsession deepened, she began to notice subtle changes. When she opened the book after long days of emotionally charged research, a sentence would appear briefly in her mind, never on the page, always fading by morning, but leaving behind understanding rather than information. She realized the book had been present during the drafting of early treaties, the writing of founding documents, moments when the nation stood at a crossroads between wisdom and ambition, and that each time it offered guidance that was sometimes accepted, often ignored, but never erased. The climax came when Helen uncovered a forgotten Revolutionary War journal describing a meeting between generals and unnamed advisors who consulted the silent book before deciding not to pursue a devastating campaign that would have ensured victory at an unbearable human cost. A decision history later credited to luck and weather. Drawn by a sense of responsibility she could not rationalize, Helen took the book to the original coastal site where it had first touched American soil, now a quiet stretch of protected shoreline, and sat through the night listening to the waves speak a language older than ink. As dawn broke, the book grew heavy in her hands, and without seeing words, she understood its final truth. That history survives not because it is written, but because it is remembered, retold, and restrained when necessary, and that the blank pages were not empty but resting. Helen returned the book to the archive, reclassified not as a mystery but as a witness. And though it remains blank to this day, those who handle it carefully sometimes leave the library changed, unable to say why they feel calmer, more thoughtful, more aware of the unseen choices that shape their world. The book continues to wait, patient and unmarked, holding stories that refuse to be rushed, trusting that when humanity is ready to read them, it won't need the pages at all. This mysterious journey ends here, but stay tuned for more untold stories in our next video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new stories. Thank you, and see you again.